Welcome into the Thunder Basketball universe presented by COOP Ale Works. The All-Star break has finally arrived, and that means a nice little break for most of the Thunder players and staff members. However, the Thunder rookie, Josh Giddey, is going to have a jam-packed weekend. He is going to be representing the Thunder in both the Rising Stars game as well as the Skills Challenge. So it's going to be a fun weekend for Josh, and that kicks off on Friday.
Yeah, you're going to be in for a whirlwind. Our very own Paris Lawson is going to be on the scene in Cleveland. I'm taking a little long weekend to spend with my wife and daughter, Camelia. So that'll be a different way to celebrate the All-Star break for me. This is my first one missing. But Paris, I'm so excited for you because there's just so much pomp and circumstance. Josh, being a rookie player, is going to have a bazillion events that you're going to go to, and you're going to chase them all around the city. And by the end of it, you're going to be exhausted, but you're going to be like, man, that was fun.
I am very much looking forward to it. I know Josh is looking forward to it, his family as well. And it's going to be a jam-packed weekend. We've already heard a little bit of just how crazy Josh's schedule is going to be. So you're going to want to stay locked on OKCThunder.com. I've got you covered on all the content, the whereabouts of Josh Giddey throughout Cleveland. And of course, you're going to want to stay locked at OKC Thunder on all social channels. But one thing to note heading into this weekend, the Rising Stars game and the Skills Challenge are going to look a little different than they did in years prior. And that Rising Stars game in particular, there are now 4 teams that are going to be playing a little mini tournament. And it should be a pretty fun matchup because it also includes players from the G League Ignite.
Right. Each of the teams are going to be coached by one of the members of the NBA 75. So the 75 best players as deemed by the NBA in league history as the NBA celebrates the 75th year. So Josh is going to get to be coached by a legend. He's going to be teamed up in this little tournament style where 4 teams, they're going to go at it and the winner will get the spoils. And you know, Josh, he knows how to make his teammates better. So it doesn't really matter whether if he's played with these guys before. I have a feeling we're going to see a few assists.
Definitely. And the assists will not stop there because the very next day, Josh will be participating in the Skills Challenge, which also has a little bit of a unique format this year. Rather than individuals going head to head, again, this is going to be a team style format, one of 3 teams that are going to be competing. And Josh is on Team Rooks, and he's going to have teammates of Cade Cunningham and Scotty Barnes in this Skills Challenge. And I personally am most looking forward to the Skills Challenge from Josh Giddey. Just seeing some of the wild passes we've seen from him so far this season, I can only imagine how that'll translate in a Skills Challenge format.
Pretty awesome. 3 of the top 6 picks from last year's draft, all on the same team in the Skills Challenge. You don't often see that many rookies in this competition. So for them to be all together, going up against some of the vets and the Antetokounmpo brothers is pretty awesome too.
Yep. So it's going to be Team Cavs, Team Antetokounmpo, and then Team Rooks. So should be a really fun kind of matchup and interesting to see how this new format shakes out for the NBA. But needless to say, going to be a jam-packed weekend, a lot of fun stuff to watch. And if you've liked Josh Giddey's passes throughout the season, you're going to want to tune in to this Skills Challenge to see that on display as well. But before we let you watch some of this, we got a chance our very own Nick Gallo got a chance to talk to Josh Giddey before we head off to Cleveland.
This was a fun interview. I played a little game with him. Paris, we wish that you could have been there too, but you know, we're doing a lot of stuff. We're wheeling and dealing around
that's why
here.
There's 2 of us.
That's right. So I got to catch up with Josh, ask him all about what he's most looking forward to over All-Star Weekend. And Paris, I think before we toss to this interview, what are you most looking forward to experiencing at your very first All-Star Weekend?
I love the fact that I am a first-timer at this NBA All-Star with a first-timer at the NBA All-Star. Cool. So we are both going to be experiencing this stuff for the very first time, and I really look forward to seeing things through his eyes and, of course, just kind of following him around to the various activations and events outside of just the NBA All-Star, Rising Stars game and the Skills Challenge. I'm really looking forward to see how he kind of connects with fans, and also looking forward to seeing some potential Josh Giddey fans and in the building at Cleveland as well. I know he's got a pretty large following out there, so I'm interested to see just how many show up for this Rising Stars Challenge.
The Aussie draws, for sure. He most certainly does. Okay, exactly. Well, take a listen to this interview. It was a great time, and as you know, Josh is so fun, so easy to talk to. We have a very special guest on the Thunder Basketball Universe podcast today. It is none other than Josh Giddey, the Thunder's rookie sensation, who is having just an incredible rookie year. Josh, thank you so much for joining me.
Gallo, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's fun. We get to talk to you every day, but we don't always get to like play around and kind of do some of the lighter side of stuff. We're always talking basketball. So I thought we'd start off with a little game. And this is, to honor the fact that you are leading all rookies in assists and you're third among all rookies in rebounds. The game is called Pass or Grab.
All right.
So what we're going to do, I'm going to ask you about an American item or thing and then an Australian thing. And you've got to choose which one you're going to pass, which one you're going to give up, and which one you're going to grab.
Right.
Okay. All right. So on a slice of toast, would you rather have Vegemite or jelly?
Vegemite.
Okay.
So I'd grab Vegemite and pass jelly.
Why is that? Did you grow up on Vegemite?
I didn't eat it a whole lot as a kid, but I've had jelly, and between the two, I'm not a big fan of either, but I'd have to go Vegemite.
All right, cool. What about Tim Tams or Oreos?
Tim Tams.
Okay.
Keep the Tim Tams.
What is a Tim Tam? Because we can't get those over
Yeah,
here.
it's like it's just chocolate. It's like a chocolate biscuit, like coated in more chocolate. They're nice, but yeah, I get them sent over from Australia. Eat them, keep them at home, so they're good to have. Oreos, I don't mind either. We got them in Australia, but Tim Tams are definitely.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to hear that the Oreos have made their way all the way across the Pacific. Okay, you've been here for a little while, so you may have caught a baseball game or two.
Yeah.
Baseball or cricket?
Good question. That's a tough one. I'd say cricket. Cricket, yeah. I like baseball, but it's in Australia, but it's nowhere near as big as what it is here. But for me, cricket, just because I understand it more, I know what's happening, so it's more enjoyable to watch.
There are a lot of intricate rules to baseball, and you kind of sometimes are wondering what's happening here. But okay, so 3-0 here on the grabs for Australian things. This is the final one: footy or American football?
Oh, footy. I love American football, but AFL is one of my favorite sports besides basketball, so have to go footy.
Okay, wow, clean sweep. Everyone in Oklahoma, we're going to have to do a little bit more to indoctrinate Josh here and get him on the American side of things. But thanks for playing along.
No problem.
I want to ask you about, we're recording this as sort of this preview to All-Star Weekend. Obviously, there's a big announcement that you are going to be a part of the Rising Stars game, also the skills competition. So just tell me about learning that you were named to the Rising Stars team.
Yeah, obviously a big honor. I mean, there's only 12 rookies I think selected to that, so to me, recognized among those top 12 is pretty cool. And I mean, there's a lot of good players. Our class is pretty deep, so there's good guys that didn't get to play in this game. So it's a privilege. And first All-Star Weekend, participating. I actually went and watched one in Chicago one year, so first one participated in, and I'm excited for it.
That All-Star game in Chicago was the last real normal All-Star weekend that we've had. It was right before the world ended. Tell me about that. How were you able to make it to Chicago for that, and what were you doing here?
I had a camp. I was at Basketball Without Borders. It was a camp in Chicago, and part of the experience is going to the All-Star weekend, and we went and watched the dunk contest, and then the next day we went and watched the All-Star game. And that was I think that was the famous photo of LeBron guarding someone, and all the rappers were in the background in that photo. But that was awesome. The game was competitive. They all played hard. So when they're playing like that, it's fun to watch. So, but we were in the absolute nosebleeds. It was hard to see things. People were standing up, but awesome experience.
That's the most thrilling aspect of All-Star Weekend is if in the actual All-Star game, if it's close in the fourth quarter, there's nothing else like it. And I think that year was the different ending where they had to play to a final score. Yeah. So that was cool. You mentioned Basketball Without Borders. That has played a pretty significant role in your journey. Will you just maybe tell me about kind of all the different checkpoints along the way that Basketball Without Borders has helped you?
Yeah, so my first one was in India. I spoke about this the other night. It was in 2018 or 19, I want to say. I was 15 at the time. And there was a bunch of NBA players that came out. This camp was, I was completely unknown at this time. It was the most exciting thing in the world for me to go to this camp in India. There was people from all around the Asian region, and we all went there, played games, did skill testing, met all these NBA players. There was Karis LeVert was there. I want to say Dwight Powell was there too.
Okay.
There was a bunch of other guys, and Joey Crawford was actually there, the referee. He was reffing as a special guest. But that was my first ever experience there. And then a couple years later, or a year or so, I went to Chicago for the second one. And that one was more like competitive. I mean, the players there were probably a bit better than the Indian camp. It was worldwide, playing in front of NBA scouts, college scouts. Games were filmed live. So that one was a pretty special experience for me. It was one of my first times in America, getting to compete against world-class athletes, go to the All-Star weekend. So that was, my experiences with BWB.
So you went to All-Star weekend. You weren't even 18 yet, though.
No, I was 16, I think, yeah.
So, but did it give you enough of like an understanding of what to expect heading into this one in Cleveland and, coming up?
Yeah, I mean, sitting up there, everyone was, we're all dreaming about being on the court, playing in the games, and, being able to sit on the floor at the dunk contest with the players and all that stuff. So for it to be happening in a week or so, it's pretty exciting. But, I mean, it's different. I mean, I guess it's going to be different from a fan's perspective opposed to actually being in part of the, All-Star weekend. So I could probably answer that a bit better after the weekend's done.
Sure. There's always just a massive amount of events that sometimes players in your position, rookies, second-year guys, are doing off the court when they go to All-Star weekend. Do you already have some of that stuff mapped out, or is it kind of like once we get on the ground, we'll figure out what we're going to do? Yeah,
I mean, it's more that. I mean, there's a lot of unexpected stuff that's probably going to happen in Cleveland, but, I'll be there for a couple of days, enjoy the weekend, enjoy getting to be around the world-class talent that's there. I'm sure there'll be a lot of media stuff to do. So, obviously, Cleveland's one of the highlights of the year in the NBA calendar. So, I'm excited for it.
Well, last time you were in Cleveland was like the wackiest road trip you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
We didn't get to really talk to you about that night when the team traveled from Charlotte to Cleveland. Didn't end up getting in until 8 in the morning or something
7,
like
8
that?
in the morning. Yeah.
So just tell me about that night from your perspective.
Yeah, long night. Obviously, got on the plane. Weather was bad, and then we got told about maybe an hour after sitting there that we weren't going to take off, or there was another plane being sent to pick us up. So they dimmed the lights, and a lot of us went to sleep. It was a few hours until we had to just kind of burn. So I personally went to sleep, so I don't really know what the other guys were doing, but when I woke up, Jeremiah woke me up, and it was maybe 5 in the morning. We were getting on a new plane, and then got to Cleveland. It was bright outside, and went upstairs, went to bed, and then we were all tired. We went to the game. We lost that game, but I think, it was definitely a long night. I've nenever had anything like that before.
It seemed kind of like a bonding experience and a moment of pride, too, that you all played very well in that game. And that's something that I think fans have noticed about you all season long is like, doesn't really matter what the circumstances have been. You've brought it every single night. What have you taken most pride in terms of what you've been able to put on the floor night in and night out? Yeah,
that. I mean, no matter the circumstances, whether players are out, with COVID or injury or whatever the situation is, we get in the city at 8 in the morning. You can't really make excuses because there's nowhere on the stat sheet that it says injured or arrived at 8 in the morning. So you can't really put that stuff, as an excuse into why you're playing good, bad, or whatever it might be. So for me, it's about just coming out, competing every night. It's a blessing to be in the NBA and to be in the position I'm in. So, not taking that for granted and playing every game, like it's my last.
Yeah, when you establish that, it seems like the results, the stats, all of that stuff follows from there. You are leading all rookies in double-doubles. You've won the Western Conference Rookie of the Month now 3 straight times. You've swept that. What has this been like for you to just kind of bubble up to the surface? I mean, the cream rising to the top, so to speak. And you're one of those guys that's really shining out.
Yeah, it's it's cool. I mean, I never dreamt of this in my life. I mean, I dreamt of being here, but I never thought it would actually happen. So, it's still surreal to me. I don't really know how to talk about it because I could never have pictured this happening. So, but we're here now, and all the awards and that stuff are good, but. I'm lucky I landed in a good situation in Oklahoma. This was the team I was praying that drafted me at 6, and I thought 6 was probably too high for me. I thought, 7 to 15 was probably more my range, and I was sitting there with my fingers crossed on draft night. So I'm here now, and it's different for all rookies because some guys go to teams that are contending for a championship. Some guys go to teams that are rebuilding and probably get a bit more playing time, like the situation I'm in. So very happy with where I'm at.
All right, so when you go to Cleveland for All-Star Weekend, you're going to be representing Oklahoma City. It's a new, strange, different format to the actual Rising Stars game. Yeah. Do you know anything about that yet? And what's your mindset going to be when you go into this little, I think it's like a mini tournament, basically, where there's teams of 7.
Yeah, so there's 4 teams of 7, and I think Team A will play D and B and C will play whatever it might be. And the first game is to 50, I think. And then the second game, is the 2 winners from each game play in a game to 25, I think. It's kind of to celebrate the 75th anniversary. So they're doing something like that. And then in between, there's like a shooting competition that's happening. And I think there's 5 teams of 2. And you got to make I forget who my partner is. But anyway, I got a partner, and the team to make the shots in the quickest amount of time wins, or whatever it is. So I'm looking forward to it. It's obviously used to be World versus USA, right. I think, rookies and sophomores, but it's a different thing, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then tell me about the skills competition. How did you end up as a part of that?
I have no idea. My agent called me one morning. He just said, congrats, you've been selected in the skills comp, and I didn't know. Well, I know the format's different this year. It used to be just 2 people going in that around the circuit or whatever it is, but it's been changed this year. Not sure what the format is, but I'm looking forward to it.
And then just last thing for you, you get through All-Star Weekend. Once that happens, you go through all the hoopla, you get to hang out on the court. What are some things that you're going to want to do those couple days on the backside before you have to practice, before the games start up again? Because that'll be sort of the stretch run, the last 25 or so games coming back.
Yeah, I'm going to New York for a couple of days with my agent. We're just going to chill out there, shop, relax, and kick back for a couple of days before, as you said, the last home stretch of the season. So it's obviously, the other guys are probably going to enjoy the break a bit more than I am, because I'm going to have to play games and do other things. But after Cleveland, I'll head to New York for a couple of days and then come back to train. And I think we got a game a couple of days after.
Everybody else will be resting, but you'll get to do what you love
exactly,
the most, which is play basketball.
Yeah.
And we know Thunder fans absolutely adore watching you play, and they're going to be thrilled to see you up there in Cleveland. Josh, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Gallo.
Such a fun interview and a fun weekend ahead for Josh Giddey in Cleveland. Be sure to stay locked on OKCThunder.com and at OKC Thunder social channels to keep up with Josh's whereabouts throughout the weekend. But before we let you go, we got to let you know what's on tap for the Thunder coming out of the All-Star break. A really, really nice break for the Thunder in the midst of this really demanding season. But coming out of it, they will start their second half of the season with a home road back-to-back that starts on Thursday against Phoenix, and then they head out to Indianapolis to play the Pacers right after that.
Taking on the team with the very best record in the league right out of the All-Star break. This is a very rare situation where the Thunder actually doesn't play on that Thursday before the All-Star break. That's typically been when the Thunder has been in action. So getting that extra long break, and then you're coming right back to reality and playing against the very best team in the league according to the record, and then kicking off that back-to-back. So about 24 games left on the schedule after we come back from the All-Star break. Pretty amazing that we're this deep into the year. So be sure to stick with us on Bally Sports Oklahoma and here at Thunder Basketball Universe and on OKCThunder.com for the home stretch.
Until then, we want to thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much to our producer, Matt Bishop, and to our special guest, Josh Giddey. And until next time, Thunder up, and catch you later.